good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Lim Jing Jie, and then my matric number is MCS 193015. And my supervisor is Dr. Rohayati Hassan, and my co-supervisor is Dr. Johanna Ahmad. So today I will present about my progress update on the mutation testing using code annotation in Android application. So before that, let me jump to the give you some background or anything or some motivation of my project. Not project, sorry, thesis. Yeah. So for the needs, we can see that currently there are many Android applications that have many bugs even in the Play Store nowadays, and then they cost a lot of money. Especially if you want to work in the industry, we can see that not all the applications are like foolproof of bug free. So one of the approach that we are using is we will be using mutation testing to create a mutant of the certain test case using code annotation and Android annotation. So what are the benefits? So firstly, definitely is increase in the mutation operator and category, and it might have a higher chance to discover more, to generate more mutant and discover more bugs so that we can solve the bug before it release to the market. So what are the competition currently we are looking on? So firstly is the Android Plus, which on the market already, and also some library that we are using is of course is Android annotation and code annotation. So let's jump to the objective. So our first objective is to investigate and analyze the current issues in mutation testing using code annotation. So second, we need to propose an enhancement in terms of increasing the number of mutant category and mutation operator using the code annotation in Android project. So finally, we want to evaluate the effectiveness of the proposed enhancement technique in number 2. Let's look at what others have done. So first, we have student Lyndon or researcher Lyndon, which is focused on the mutation testing on Android, where he split all the mutation operator based on different category like event-based, component lifecycle, XML related, common fault, etc. etc. As you can see on the slide. So for the Ninares, which is more focused on Android Plus, which is something he created the Android Plus, which will basically create the mutant in the Android application. So, and next one is a Pedro Pinheiro, where he's focused on the code annotation in the Java and also C# program. So this is something that we found it will be interesting if we can start to look into the code annotation in the Android application, because as far as we research, no one focus on the mutation testing using code annotation in Android yet. So let's jump to the generic process of the mutation testing. So basically you can see that, okay, the first step is to input the original program A, and from there we will create a mutant A, we can A dot, something like that. So we will input a test set B. So when we try to run a B on the original program, right? So we will to evaluate are the result when we try to run the test set B on A and mutant A dot, is it the same? If it is not the same, so means yes, correct. We generate a mutant and the A dot is Q. But if it is false, right? So we need to analyze and mark it as the equivalent mutant. Next, let's go to the code annotation, where we will present you what is code annotation exactly. So from the screen here, you can see that this is some Java coding or maybe Kotlin coding. As you can see, bottom one. So the third one is the code that using code annotation. You can see that it is more neat and more simple, where, for example, we add insert. So this is something is just a method or it's just a function. So the second one, query. So it is something that we can straight away query the thing instead of trying to write a long line of code and try to put many line of the thing. So you will increase the complexity of the code and also increase the bug. So this is a research process of my current thesis. So as you can see that we start using the recent study of the mutation testing, and then we will study the mutation testing tool for Android, and which is Android Plus, and then we will review the mutation testing operator for identified tools. While in the phase 2, we will go into a problem definition where we identify the limitation and gaps from the literature review, and we will define the research scope and also objective. So on the phase 3, we will do the experiment and evaluation, where we do an experiment setup, experiment operation, and result evaluation. So on the phase 4, we are doing the result dissemination, where we will come up with the achievement, contribution, future work, and report documentation, and lastly is a thesis completion. So this is our research framework, which is in a more interactive way, when there is some UI, where you can see that the phase 1 is a research framework of where we do the feasibility study and data collection. So we identify the problem, we identify the goal, scope, objective. So we look into the Android, we look into the open source project from GitHub. So on the phase 2, where we do the literature review, so review on the current tech and also review on the related works by other researchers. So we search a lot of paper, and then we try to compare the pros and the cons. So this way we try to focus what we want to research on, which is the Android application, code annotation, mutation testing. So on the phase 3 is implementation, where we want to do the mutant generation using the code annotation. So from one paper, we categorize all the code annotation into 9 categories here. So we also try to do a mutation testing using the process flow that generic process flow that I shared just now, and we want to compare using the Android Plus. So lastly, is the analysis on and evaluation, where we will come up with a mutation score and also effectiveness. So on the right side of the screen here, you can see this is our formula of the mutation score, where it is basically a number of Q mutant divided by a number of generic mutant minus a number of equivalent mutant. This is how we come up with the mutation score to measure the effectiveness. So this is okay. Basically, so the next step is we will try to run the Android Plus to generate a mutant using 3 of our Android open source application that downloaded from GitHub. So this is what it looks like when you try to write the Android Plus to generate a mutant. So there will be we will have a log generated from Android Plus, where it will point us to like all the mutant that it created at different line of code, and also how many mutant it created, and also which category this mutant belongs to. So there is a website where you can check against like, are these mutant categorized under different activity intent definition, and what is the detection technique. So what is the code example also for us to cross-validate. Finally, we come to the result, where as mentioned earlier, so we try to compare to 3 Android application. So the firstly is the Insta material. So the second one is a daily scene. So the lastly is a lift page. So from here we can see when the number of mutant generated by the Android Plus, and also our proposed method. Yeah, you can see right now our proposed method is less compared to the Android Plus, because our proposed method only focus on the code annotation and also Android annotation. So this is something that Android Plus cannot found or cannot discover when we observe. So when we can see that there are some non-comparable mutant in our proposed method, so number of category, we also got less number of category when we compare to Android Plus. So from here you can see this like comparison. So at the end we found that non-comparable mutant percentage of our proposed method is 28.6%, which is not a good thing compared to 0% in Android Plus. But when we try to compare to daily scene and also lift page, we see a significant difference, or maybe like we can say is better. So from here you can see that number of mutant in Android Plus is 31st and 31. So proposed method is 39. So as you can see that number of category that discovered by Android Plus is 3, and for the proposed method is 2. But one thing you can notice here is type of category. So from here you can see Android Plus is doing the mutant generation in all and in the Android application, but they didn't discover Android programming and also GUI category. So from here we can see when we try to do a comparison, right? So we can see that the GUI that Android Plus generate the mutant that belongs under GUI category is less than our proposed method, but for the activity then is more. So the non-compilable mutant percentage Android Plus is 0, but our proposed method is 0 also. But in the end, when we try to compare the mutation score, yeah, our proposed mutation score, our proposed method is 96.4% compared to the 100%. So when we go to the lift peak, lastly, so from here you can see that this application is belong to maybe like a mid to a large scale application. So that's why you can see the number of mutant that discovered by Android Plus is 470, and then discovered by our proposed method is 80. But from here you can see there is a significant difference where the non-compilable mutant in Android Plus is 168, which is really unreasonable compared to 0 in our proposed method. So when we try to compare the revival mutant, it's still the same 0, 0. But for the number of category, so we managed to discover it's not true, it's 3 here, sorry. And number of category discovered by Android Plus is 7. So the only difference is when we try to look into the compare between the similar category, we can see that yes, it's significant less. But when we try to compare the number of compiler mutant, they have a 35.7%, which is quite high when we try to compare to all the mutant generation in other market. So, and lastly, the mutation score is 100%. So it's quite similar. So I think that's all. That's my sharing of my progress update right now. So for our next action plan for my side, I will still work together with my SV and also core SV on like compiling or like updating my thesis to make sure I can meet the deadline. That's all. Thank you.
Hello, Lim. Are you hearing my voice?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. My question is, since your proposed method is somehow some of the mutant can be reduced, you mentioned that the annotation it is because of the Android annotation. Can you show how the Android annotation in your in this research? I mean the Android notation, how to differentiate, okay, between can detect the Android notation with EOS.
Thanks for the question. So okay, so for the Android Plus, right? Unfortunately, there. Wait, let me go to slide. Yeah, this slide. Yes, correct. So from here you can see that Android Plus is created by researcher Nilaresh. So we mentioned in this slide like what others have done. So actually Android Plus got one downside, which they cannot create any mutant that under Code Annotation or Android Annotation. So that's why our proposed method step in and we try to tackle or target on this part. Do I answer the question?
Sorry, I mean what's difference between the details of the annotation? Can you show the Android annotation in the code, for example? Just example.
Oh, okay.
Just example.
So okay, this is an example of the Android annotation. So it will start with the add. So add insert this one type of code annotation, and also add nullable. Add the most common one is add by view, which we can see in most of our mutant. So this is the one of the way to bind the view to the this function. or this page. So when we compare to the normal Java in the application, so we can see it's quite different. So here is public void first button click view. So here we can straight away using a add by view, and also we can use the add button click to track the button.
Okay, thank you. So that is what I'm looking for. So you have a listed of all the Android annotation?
Yes, yes.
All right, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
If nothing else, I would like to invite Salim Alkhayari for the presentation.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum. My project, my thesis title is Enhancing the Qualitative Characteristic of the e-learning persona by adapting to learning style automated model. My supervisor is Dr. Noriana. And before getting into the my thesis and progress, I would like first to give an idea about persona. So to make sure everybody in the same page. This term maybe is not familiar with everybody. Persona, in a simple word, is a recessive of user characteristics. It's also represent the intentions, goal, and behavior of users. It can be defined as fictional people describe real user divisions. In simple word, the persona is a clustering user for any software. Persona have become a part of human-computer interactions and user-centered interaction, practice, and study. There is a different type of persona, but the persona which is interested in my thesis is persona data-driven, and it's usually can be qualitative persona or quantitative or qualitative persona, or can be hybrids, which mean it use qualitative and quantitative together. All the research relies on quantitative and qualitative methodologies in creation of persona, but new research focus on data mining and automatic persona constructions. Mean it's not dependent on survey or questionnaire or interview, but instead of that, it use more advanced technology like data mining or machine learning to create and develop persona. The persona technique is one of the approach of deeply understanding user based on real world data. It can provide developer and all stakeholder with comprehensive understanding of users behavior, and in case of students as we will see the learning style of them. Here is an example of persona which can be used in software engineering. Of course, there are different type of persona like health, e-health persona, e-learning persona, or software persona. Here, as you see, we have different information about the persona. The main thing or use of persona, that's all stakeholders, developer, if they want to make any decision, instead of they put their shoes in the shoes of users and think instead of users, they have a person who represents those users. And here is another persona. As you see, it's like demographic, like age, state, locations, behavior, personality, goals, motivation, all the information need for developer or even all stakeholder to make a decision according to this person. So if they want to make a major decision or developer designing or anything, they go directly to this persona, which by data they create it to be alive. Problem background. During the COVID crisis and the closing of all schools and university, the e-learning system was the perfect, if not the only option of all country to continue their schooling. This put the e-learning infrastructure in questions. The question was how e-learning system meet the expectation of users. Persona as a technique can answer these questions and can help because persona technique is one of approach of deeply understanding user based on real world data. It can provide developer and all stakeholder with a comprehensive understanding for user characteristic and behavior. Here, the research gaps, I depends on two main study, SLR, systematic literature review study on persona general, and also I conduct one practically SLR study on e-learning persona, which I'm trying to publish now. The summary of them, I can figure 4 limitation or research gaps, which is lack of evaluations, time consuming, high cost and expire, and non-use of learning style in creation of e-learning persona. If you notice, that's the title of my thesis was enhance the qualitative characteristics. What I did, I link the limitation of persona with the qualitative characteristics and justified it like completeness related to non-use of learning style, especially for e-learning persona. Timeless is linked to the time-consuming, cost with expire and high cost, and evaluation of qualitative characteristic is linked with lack of evaluations. Problem statement. The summary of a problem statement will illustrate those limitations, and the purpose of this is to improve those limitations and try to enhance them, as we see, inshallah. Research question: how can the qualitative characteristics of e-learning persona be enhanced? The above mentioned main research question is further subdivided into sub-questions. One of them, how can developer create completeness and usefulness e-learning persona based on e-learning style? How can an e-learning persona that's based on learning style be created automatically? And the last one, how can qualitative characteristics of an e-learning persona be evaluated? By the way, I mean by learning style, that's everyone from students and even us has his own learning styles. And there is many theory which can divide and decide which learning style belong to the person. For example, some of us are visualizing. Someone tend to deal with numbers more than pictures, and so on. Research hypothesis. To me, this hypothesis is the most important part of the research because it's because the most important aspect of this study are the hypothesis. It is not wild guesses to what the solution might be. In simple word, the hypothesis, it's not created randomly, but it's based on previous research and knowledge, and also is justified by reference, and it can be approved or disapproved. So we're going to test this hypothesis if it's can be right or wrong. Those hypotheses is response to at least one of the research questions. If we back to hypothesis, we have 4 hypotheses, and it's the structures of thesis or research based on those hypotheses. One of them, adapting learning style to the development process of e-learning persona will improve the e-learning persona completeness as one of its qualitative characteristics. This statement or this hypothesis, to test it, I have to develop a proposed solution, then evaluate the completeness of it. If it's going to be improvement, that's I achieve something regarding to the completeness. The second one, using fully automatic creation model, including learning style to create learning persona, improve the timeless, cost, and expire of learning persona creations. By the way, expire, I mean usually persona that's made by survey or interview, after a while it's expire, it's not updatable. This is one of the limitations, and to do it again and again, it will cost time and cost money. Using semi-automated creation model, adapting learning style manually to create e-learning persona to improve the time and cost. The difference between H2 and H3, as we will see inshallah, this one is fully automated and this one is not. And the one normalization of qualitative indicator can be used to evaluate the qualitative characteristic of e-learning persona. In this chart, you can see how this research is designed. We have a hypothesis. According to this one, we proposed a solution. Then we evaluate the achieved improvement in the research gaps or variables. For example, completeness, cost, time, the objective, and we have three objectives: to enhance qualitative characteristic of e-learning persona by adapting learning style to the creation persona, to automate the creation of an e-learning persona, and to evaluate qualitative characteristic of e-learning persona. I go the importance. I go very fast for how to save time. It is one of the first studies to use online social media data to create e-learning persona based on learning style automatically, which can be considered as a fresh concept by itself. As we will see, one of the solutions that I proposed depends on social media to create and develop persona. It is one of the first research efforts that's focused on qualitative characteristic of e-learning persona. It's also focused on proposing framework of evaluation qualitative characteristics. Unlike the other study, this research focused on creating e-learning persona based on learning style, and also this proposed framework for learning style matrix. Scope of this research. The main scope of this research is the focus on persona creation technique. It's about the technique itself. It's not about developing learning system. And the enhancement will be used to create a learning persona in study case Omani government school students, and will be delivered to them, to the Ministry of Education. They might use it in developing of e-learning system. This is the framework. Start with the research gap, then link it with the qualitative characteristics, then develop the solution and the in evaluation. I will illustrate in details the solution right now. This compare between the certain e-learning persona, its completeness, timeless, cost, expire, and the proposed framework of creation e-learning persona. Of course, it's all justified. The same way I got the limitation I used here. This is organizations, go for it very fast. As you know, it's a direction, literature review, research methodology. And each solution that I proposed, I decide to put it in chapter. Of course, this is not final. Maybe I'm going to change it. Let's go for the for the proposed solution one. I call it for now e-learning persona creation model. It's the main quantitative research. As you see, it's online questionnaires. It include demographic data, IT skills and behavior, IT instruction, and learning style. I used FARK questionnaire for learning style. Then I'm going to clustering it, use SPSS analyzing. Then I will create eLearning persona according to this. This proposed solution is linked or related to the hypothesis 1, which is adapting learning style to developing persona of eLearning persona to improve eLearning persona completeness. After I do it, I will take the eLearning persona resulting from these models and evaluate it in terms of completeness as a variable. And I will check if it has improved or not. This is some detail of participants. I'm targeting hopefully to do 1,000 participants distributed from different parts in my country, divided to female and male. All of them are students, and I couldn't do it this semester because of COVID. I hope I can do it in the beginning of the next semester. Also, it's to ensure that I target the participant. I will do it in the computers labs. So I will let them fill the questionnaire in the computer lab, so I can monitor who fill the questionnaires and which age. The proposed solution 2, which is automated e-learning persona creation model. This is associated with the second hypothesis and the variables related to this, which is timeless, cost, and also completeness, because it's include learning. The conceptual design is social media data, then we analyze it, then clustering it, then creating a learning persona, and adding to it learning style matrix. In the left side, in my left side, you can see the layer of developing the same model. I will start with Twitter API to collect informations. Then, of course, this information is unstructured. It's not data, it's not numbers, it's text. That's why I use NLP, National Language Process, to organize it and to format it. To do that, I will use Python's NLTK package. It's allowed me to deal with the tags. Then learning style index, I will bring it here. I will explain later how I will create it. Then I use machine learning to classify it, Navid Bayes classifier. This is an algorithm allowed me to classify data to put it in each persona. And in the end, I will use the Microsoft Power BI because I need to illustrate all the data and update it time by time to the developer or stockholders. Here is one of the biggest challenge I have, that's how can I get learning style from Twitter's content. Of course, I found several studies try to do it. One of them, this one, try to find buttons in Twitter content and try to link it with the learning style. I still in process of this one. My progress with this is not that I'm not happy about it, but inshallah I will do it. If you noticed here, there is so many buttons can be elect from tweets. The chapter 4, which is proposed, as I mentioned, each one, for example, proposed solution 2 is chapter 4. Sorry, chapter. It's mistakenly. This chapter 4, and this one chapter 5, and this one will be chapter 6. As you notice, this one, it's the same automated learning creation model. However, the learning style, it's not bringing from Twitter, but all the other data, like the infrastructure they use, the motivated they use, all the other data come from Twitter. But the learning style I will bring it from the questionnaire as I do with the model one. I call this one for now semi-automated. It's a developer of Hyper technique. It's used usually Hyper technique use questionnaire with interview. Now I use it for safe social media with questionnaires. I choose this one as to be on a safe side. If I cannot achieve the proposed solution to, I will do this one. Evaluation framework, as I said, all solutions, proposed solutions will come with the persona. I will evaluate it in terms of variables. Variables like I said in the first slides, like completeness, times, cost, and I will evaluate it and decide if it's any of those proposed made enhancement in characteristic of e-learning persona. I think this is the end. Thank you.
So there's a question from me, which is there a privacy concern associated with the development of an e-learning persona?
Yeah, of course there is. Because if you're dealing with users and human and try to copy those users to a persona, your concern will be to protect their privacy. For example, in my this research, I deal with students. I cannot ask them, for example, to provide me with Twitter's account for them, even though it will help me to analyze it. Also, I should get license and permission from their parents and their Ministry of Educations. This is the same way for all the data collected from others persona, even though health persona. If you are creating health persona, you cannot link the health situations and information for person and make it for public, even for your purpose, without their permission.
Assalamualaikum, Lukman here.
Alaikum salam.
Just now you mentioned that you use the Microsoft Power BI. Can you show an example of the illustration? Do you have any example?
In this lab, I didn't include. Sorry for that. I didn't include any example, and it's not in my computer now. Sorry for that. But I think if you Google it, you can use it. It's a new technology, and I think it's not for free, but because I'm working in Ministry of Education and we have a cooperation with Microsoft, they come and give us like a presentation about it. I got it from there, and honestly, I get some support from them to use it, inshallah.
Thank you for the comments and questions. So if there is nothing else, we will end our colloquiums today. Thank you for your participation and see you in the next colloquium. You may leave the meeting now. Thank you.